We have Cincinnati's very own Ben Hammer on the keys.
Flash your light, you must be shining. I think I saw you cross the sky, you must be flying. Hey, and I think you're getting closer, filling up my line of sight. And it only takes a moment. I'm asking you to come inside. Got me going out of my mind, but I never did feel so fine. Throwing bridges into space and time. Don't know where I'm going, but I keep on floating. Got me going out of my mind, but I never did feel so fine. Throwing bridges into space and time. Don't know where I'm going. Flash your light, you must be shining. I saw you cross the sky, you must be flying. And I think you're getting closer, filling up my line of sight. And it only takes a moment. I'm asking you to come inside. But I never did feel so fine. There were bitches into space and time. I don't know where I'm going, but I keep on floating. But I never did feel so fine. There were bitches into space and time. Don't know where I'm going, but I keep on floating. So fine. There were adventures into space and time. I don't know where I'm going, but I keep on floating. Got me going out of my mind, but I never did feel so fine. There were adventures into space and time. Don't know where I'm going, but I keep on floating. Thank you so much, everybody. Space and time, two things, man. Or are they the same thing? We don't know yet. But we do know that this next song is called... That's it.
Welcome, everyone, to Science on Tap. How many of you are first-timers for Science on Tap? Awesome. Science on Tap is a monthly education program. We meet the first Wednesday of the month right here at Urban Artifact every month, bringing you science and education from around Cincinnati, highlighting our Cincinnati celebrities and the amazing science and applications of science that are going on in this area. So I hope you join us for future events. You can find us on Facebook at Science on Tap Cincinnati, as well as Meetup Science on Tap Cincinnati. How many people are first-timers to Urban Artifact and Radio Artifact? Awesome. They are amazing partners for us. I encourage you to follow them as well. They have a lot of amazing concerts here in this space, as well as a lot of fun events out in the bar area, so be sure to follow them. We are live streaming this, and all our events are recorded on Radio Artifact's YouTube channel and Twitch, so go out there and check that out if you want some more science. So thank you all for being here. And
first off, we need to raise a glass to eclipse season. Everybody, eclipse season, to the eclipse. Yes. Now, just as a little FYI, I'm getting over a cold. Thankfully, it's not COVID, so I have a nice, deep, gravelly voice, don't I? This is good. The only cure to this is the sourest beer in the world. I just asked them, give me the sourest. Which one did you give me? I don't know. It's not Gadget. I don't know where the fella is that gave it to me. Anyway, it's sour. I love it. I go to other places, I'm like, give me the sourest thing. I drink it, it's like, hoppy, gross, disgusting. This is where you come for the sour stuff. So I'm really excited about this. It's only going to help my throat, I think, and so I'll be able to talk a little bit better. But I'm so excited to be here to tell you about the solar eclipse coming up. April 8th, this is the big event. This is something that is truly spectacular. I do not want to exaggerate, and I am not going to exaggerate. This will be the greatest thing you have ever seen in your entire life. Wedding day, nothing. Birth of your children, garbage. You will shove your spouse out of the way and your child out of the way to see this. This is literally the thing that will change your life, because this is what will happen. Is you're outside, it's a sunny day, all of a sudden a shadow sweeps across the land. Whew. You look up, the sun is gone, replaced by this black hole of where the sun used to be. The stars will pop out in the middle of the daytime. The temperature will drop 15 to 20 degrees. The animals start thinking it's nighttime. The crickets start chirping. The bats start flying. And the people next to you go berserk. You will hear crying, screaming, yelling. People ripping their hairs out because they have never seen anything like this before. And after a few moments, the sun comes back out. And you're left thinking, did that even happen? It's like a dream. And after you see one, you are hooked. How many people saw the one in 2017? Did I exaggerate? I undersold it, didn't I? It's even better than that. I'm telling you. If you haven't seen it, you got to see it. If you saw it before, you're going to see it again, because I know it. And so I'm here to get you pumped up about it. I'm get you excited about it, and to tell you a little bit about where you want to go. Because that's the tough part, is that you don't want to be here. You want to be somewhere else, and I'll get through that here in a second. For folks that haven't met me before, I've been the longtime astronomer at the Cincinnati Observatory. Recently left there to go out doing astronomy around the country. So I've been the astronomer in residence at the Grand Canyon. I work with the national parks. And then I'm also the host of a podcast called Looking Up with Dean Regas. So if you get your podcasts, look for that. I have new episodes every 2 weeks where I interview astronauts, authors, scientists, that kind of thing. The next ones that are coming up, there's going to be one about the eclipse. There's also going to be one with the author Andy Weir, who wrote The Martian, which was pretty cool, talking to him. And Hail Mary, that's right, Project Hail Mary, yep. And so, and then also talked to Ann Druyan, who is the widow of Carl Sagan, who helped with the Cosmos series. She produced the Cosmos series, both of them. Man, so we've got some really good ones coming up. And then I'm also the author of 6 books, including 100 Things to See in the Night Sky, 1,000 Facts About Space, and my controversial How to Teach Grown-Ups About Pluto. So, just out of curiosity, how many of you are still mad about Pluto? I thought this was a science crowd, not some emotional pity party. Yeah, sorry, Pluto's gone. It's been 17 years. Time to get over it. You hold a grudge. So I wrote this book for the kids to walk their traumatized adults through the loss of a planet with the 5 stages of grief illustrated. So I have my books at the back afterwards if you want to check those out, and I'd be happy to sign them for you, and I can sell them, and I can take all sorts of payments. So see me afterwards, and you can check out the books. It's a lot of fun. So I have a lot of fun with this topic. And I have a lot of fun with astronomy, and what makes the solar eclipse so cool is that this is for everybody. You don't need a telescope, you don't need binoculars, you just have to be at the right place at the right time. And just to show how cool this event is and how precise and rare it is, we have eclipses about every couple years, and we had one 5 months ago, in October. It was a partial solar eclipse, only part of the sun was blocked out, and if you were in the right place at the right time, you saw this. This is the moon in front of the sun. So it's called a ring of fire eclipse or an annular eclipse. So this is a picture that I took of that. Oh, wait, I forgot to show you the background, because where I went for this was there. I mean, if you're going to see an eclipse, and Roswell is one of the options, might as well go there. By the way, because you might appreciate this also, I was very, skeptical being there. But the people really embraced the alien thing, so I tried to mess with them a little bit, and I was like, so let me get this straight. So the whole town kind of revolves around this UFO crash, right? And they're like, yeah, that's right. I was like, back in 1947. Like, yeah, that's right. And anything since then? They're like, no. I was like, so just the one? They're like, yeah. I was like, okay, just one. That's what their whole town's based on, is one thing that happened 75 years ago that only few people saw and everybody blew out of proportion. But anyway, they didn't appreciate my sarcasm, but that's all right, because I took this picture. Now, this was just my phone attached to a filtered telescope, and I said, well, let's do the video. So there's the moon in front of the sun, but the moon is not blocking out the whole sun, because the moon's too far away from us. So it has to be closer to block out the entire sun, or else you get this. But I took this video, and what I like about this video is towards the end of this, as we zoom in, you see those little bumps right there. Those are mountains on the moon. that are just raised up enough to block more sunlight. So the sunlight's coming through the valleys there. And this is what's called Bailey's beads. This is something that you're going to see with the total eclipse also. But this was just with my phone attached to a telescope. So nothing fancy. This is stuff that you can do. But that's the thing, is that the moon has to be farther, has to be closer to us to actually block out the whole sun. And so that's what we got to get lined up here for this one, the big one. So what do we got happening? Now, we'll go through the basics. Now, this is the drawing for this, which I think is pretty laughable also because of the scale, but this is what's happened. You got the sun on one side, the earth on the other side, the moon in the middle. And the shadow of the moon goes down and just barely touches the earth. So you get a partial eclipse quite often. Maybe about once every 2 or 3 years we can see part of the sun blocked out by the moon. And it is pretty cool. But to get it precise and get it everything lined up just right is a tough thing to do. And so there are 3 dates that I circled on my calendar ever since I started in astronomy back in like 1998. And I was looking forward and said, well, when are there going to be total solar eclipses in the U.S.? So one of them already happened, August 21st, 2017. One is coming up. And then the next one, outside of one that's in Montana in 2044, this one's the next one going across the country, 2045. Now, I'm a patient man. But why wait any longer than you have to? So this is how rare it is to happen in the United States. Now, to get this all kind of in perspective is what lines up and what is actually happening. Here I have a scale model of the sun next to the moon. This is what the 2 objects would look like next to each other. You see the moon? A little dot. That's the moon compared to the sun, if they're right next to each other. But, so the sun's by diameter about 400 times that of the moon, and so how can that little teeny tiny moon block out the sun? Answer? Distance. Anybody want to venture a guess? How much farther away the sun is? 400 times! Oh my gosh, you're paying attention. That's right. The sun is 400 times farther away, 400 times the diameter, so that means the 2 of them look to be the same size in the sky. This is the only place in the solar system where this happens. The moons of Mars are too small to block out the whole sun. The moons of all the other planets are too big and they block out the entire sun for a lot. We have the only place where it's just perfect. This is so cool, and only just perfect sometimes. That's pretty good. So, I have to apologize. This is my best effort at PowerPoint animation of what is going to happen as you have the sun there and the moon slides in front just like this. Ooh, look at that animation. And then bang. Yes. That's it. That's what's going to happen. That took me a surprisingly long time to do. But anyway, this is the totality. And this is what you want to be in the place to see. You want to see that. There's no doubt about it. That's what you want to see. See this wispy, cloudy stuff? That's the corona of the sun, the outer atmosphere of the sun that you can just make out only during those times. And it is just so amazing. So the path of totality is very, very narrow. You have to be in the right place at the right time. The path is only about 80 to 120 miles wide. And as we're looking down here, this is a satellite picture of the moon's shadow on the Earth during a total solar eclipse. So it's pretty cool. So it comes down in this kind of oval shape. And then this was an eclipse that happened in Antarctica in 2003, I think it was. And I did not go to that one. The price tag was about $35,000 for a ticket to the South Pole or to Antarctica. But I did know a few people that did, and when they got there, they told me the whole story about the plane ride and everything like that, and then getting there, and the sun was blocked by the hill. It was so low in the sky, they had to trudge up the hill in the snow, and even then, they could just barely see it above the ground, and you get somebody eclipsing the eclipse. That is one-of-a-kind picture right there. So The fellow that I met that went on this trip, his name is David Levy. He was an astronomer, discovered that comet that ran into Jupiter back in the 90s. Big eclipse chaser. And so he came to visit in Cincinnati just soon after this. And I was asking him all about the trip and everything like that. And he said, so Dean, when are you going to go see a total solar eclipse? I said, well, we can't all go to Antarctica. And I saw there's one coming in the United States in 2017, so I was just going to wait till 2017. He gave me the dirtiest look. He was just like, what are you talking about? Why would you wait? I was like, well, Antarctica, it's pretty far. He's like, no, Dean. You got to understand, this is better than anything you can imagine. This is so good. You have to see one before that. So he convinced me. And I went to the Mediterranean Sea in 2006 for the eclipse. And for this, it was an eclipse cruise. So we cruised around the Mediterranean, stopped off at some islands, but then on the day of the eclipse, they parked the boat in the shadow, and that's where you get ready to view. David Levy was the celebrity guest there, and so that was nice to be there as well. So here's my travel slides. I only have about 500 of them. No, just kidding, just 2. So we got to see all these amazing sights. But then Eclipse Day, it was all business. It's all ready to go. We've got a couple hundred people on the boat. We're getting ready for totality, and we have our eclipse glasses ready to go. And so the timing of these eclipses go that you've got about an hour, hour and a half between the first contact, when you first see the eclipse start, when the moon first makes its appearance. Then you got about an hour until totality. And it is a long hour, because you're just sitting around there like, come on. Hurry up, let's get on with this thing. And so some people were more relaxed than me, that's for sure. And I was not relaxed. I was a nervous wreck because I didn't want to miss it. So I was wasting some time trying to kill time as much as I could, messing around with some viewing methods. This is a way you can look at the sun without staring at it, because you don't want to just be looking at the sun. And so I have binoculars. I have my back to the sun, and I have the sunlight coming over my shoulder through the binoculars down onto the ground, and you can focus the image just like you'd focus it for your eyes, and you get a great picture of the sun. It's a really cool way to do it. So there's the eclipse sun right there. Nice, handy way to do it. Just keep your back to the sun all the time. So, ooh, boy, that's sour. Okay, so, yeah, that helps. I had never really been on a cruise before, and so any folks, cruise goers out there, correct me if I'm wrong, is the main job on a cruise eating? Is that what you're supposed to do, just eat all the time? Okay, because it was like breakfast, you meet some people, then you just like kill some time, then it's lunch, then you meet some more people. So we'd sit there and we'd be talking about, well, the first question was, how many eclipses is this for you? People, it's like their 3rd eclipse, their 4th eclipse, their 10th eclipse, their 15th eclipse, and I was number 1. And they were like, "Oh, isn't he cute? Look at that little virgin over there. Oh, I remember my first one," and all that stuff. Well, so I got some advice that was hard for me to take. The advice was from one of the hardened eclipse chasers, and he said, "Dean, do not try to take a picture of it. Don't do it." And I was like, what are you talking about? I came all this way. I got to get a picture. He's like, you don't want to waste a second looking down, because you're going to have to adjust the focus. You're going to have to adjust the exposure level. The light's changing so fast, you're going to get stuck looking down, getting all the levels just right, and you don't want to miss a second of it. I wasn't convinced. I still was like, yeah, well, I'm going to take a picture. And then he said, okay, I got to call it the big guns. This is what's going to happen. You take a picture. Whatever picture you take is going to be 1,000 times worse than the picture I'm going to take. And I'll give you my picture. And I thought about that, and I thought, it's possible. And so this is what happened at totality. This is how dark it got at totality. This was 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And you're in this perfectly round shadow with this sunset along the edges of the horizon, and the light gets so weird, and it was just incredible. It was like nothing I'd ever experienced, like nothing I'd ever prepared for, and it was all that David Levy said. Now, I have a video of this, and the video is okay. It's more of the audio. I want you to hear people's reactions to the eclipse happening. And you're going to hear the voice of David Levy. He was on the PA system giving the play-by-play. And he's saying, put your glasses on and look at the sun, because it was still partially eclipsed. Then look at the waves, take your glasses off, look at the waves, so you can see the shadow coming. And then look back at the sun, and then you'll hear from that. So here we go.
Glasses off, look at the shadow coming into the west. Glasses on, look at the crescent. Glasses off, look at the shadow coming in. Glasses off, look at the sun. We are now in total eclipse.
Yeah, so then the boat captain blew the horn. That's me right there, and the horn was right there. I didn't move an inch. I was speechless. I wasn't one of those people yelling. I was like, I could not speak. I was without speech. It was crazy. And it was insane the way that the light just fell, just like that. Now, and David Levy did an amazing job. He had the timing down so perfectly. And I'm going to say this, but if anybody repeats it, I will deny it completely, is that, well, I'll just say what he did, is that I think he went early. I think he let us look early. Because you're supposed to wait till that last little bit of sunlight is gone, and you're in total eclipse, then you take the glasses and look. But I swear, he went 5 seconds early. And I'm glad he did, because I looked up and I saw the last ray of sunlight, and as it went away, it was like this whoosh moment. And so I don't want to recommend that you look 5 seconds early. I'm not saying that whatsoever, right? Right. Good. Glad we got that settled. That's what I'm going to do next time. But anyway, so this is how dark it got. So this is a good kind of visual of what it looked like, the whole sky, because the sun is not very big. You see those pictures where it's all zoomed in, but the sun doesn't take up very much part of the sky, so it's really the whole thing. It's not just the sun, it's the whole environment that you're in that is so weird. And the light and the shadows are so weird, and your fingers in front of you, it's like you're on a trip or something like that. So, remember I said don't take a picture and they'll share the picture? Yeah, he was probably right. That's the picture. Yeah, it's a pretty darn good picture. So this is what's called the diamond ring, the last little bit of sunlight shining around here. And so, yeah, we probably shouldn't have looked at that directly without the glasses. But boy, David Levy did tell us to look at it. And I remember see that clear as can be. That's what I remember. And God bless him for doing it, because it was awesome. And so there's the sunlight going away. You can kind of see it coming through the mountains there. And you see that little pink thing at the top, that little pink protuberance. That is a prominence. That is basically like an eruption on the sun. And you could see it with the naked eye. It was so cool. Because I don't remember seeing one in 2017, but I did see that one. It was just incredible. And then as the totality kind of sets in, the corona really comes out there about 20, 30 seconds in, and then it just lasts and lasts for just this briefest amount of time. And you can even see these kind of lines on it up there. Maybe you see at the top, these are the magnetic field lines. So that's the corona. Think of this as like a bar magnet with the North Pole and the South Pole. And then, yeah, 3 minutes, 53 seconds is all it was blocked. and the sun comes out the other side, and it's all over. So I went all that way for 3 minutes and 53 seconds, plus a vacation. Totally worth it. Totally worth it. I was so glad that I got talked into doing it. So the next one that came up, there were a couple in between that one and 2017 that I thought about, but none of them really struck me, and I was kind of making excuses. I was like, well, I don't know if I want to go to Iceland or, well, in winter, or I don't know if I want to go to Patagonia. And so I thought, all right, I'll just wait for 2017. And so I didn't take that guy's advice. I took pictures, but not very many. I didn't waste a lot at totality, but I took some pictures coming in and towards totality there. Did not have a big setup. You don't need a big rig to do this. You just use a small telescope because you don't have to magnify a lot. But this is the telescope with the filter on the end of it. So during the partial stages, you have to filter the view, and there's the camera at the bottom here. But then when totality came, I just knocked the filter off and just took pictures, like picture, 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 and that was it. And then watched the rest of the time. And totality for that one was about 2.5 minutes. And the difference of the time is how close or far away the moon is to us. So the closer it is to us, the longer the eclipse is. So 2 total solar eclipses, 2 unbelievable experiences. So where do you got to be for this one? Well, let me share with you the map. This is the map that I like to use the most with this. This is this interactive map, and I'll leave it up after the talk, so you can come up if you want to take a picture of the website, or you can go to my website, astrodean.com, and go to events, and it's listed down at the bottom here. Oh yeah, you can get glasses from me. How about that? Wait, nope, too far. There it is. So you can always go to my website to get that link too. But so here's the path that the totality will go in. And so it starts over here in the South Pacific. Whoop. And so this is where it will begin at sunrise. And anywhere between the 2 pink lines, that's where totality will be. The blue line is the center line, so that's where you get the maximum, but anywhere between the 2 pink lines is good. So it rises here in eclipse, comes across the South Pacific, comes up through Mexico, through Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, New York, Vermont, Maine, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, and fades out into sunset right there. So you got to be somewhere between those 2 pink lines. And where are we? Ah, dang it. Look at that. We're so close. Well, close isn't good enough. That's for sure. So if we want to actually go to where we are, oh man, I don't know if I'll be able to find us. There's Buttercup Valley. That's not it. Spring Grove. This way? Tickle Pickle. Am I getting close? There's Shake It. Down. Blue Rock. There it is. Okay. Hey, that's not bad. There we are. Hey, there's my car. No. So with this map, it's great. All you do is click on a spot, and it'll tell you what the obscuration will be. So maximum eclipse will be 99.8% blocked out. So 99.8% of the sun will be blocked out from right outside the front. Sounds good, doesn't it? Not good enough. It's 100% or nothing, baby. Nothing else other than 100%. 99% is not good enough. Because what will happen, and people are asking me, well, so what happens if I stay around? Don't stay around. Well, what if I do stay around? It sucks. No, it'll get darker. It will get slightly darker. It'll get slightly cooler. You might see some of the Bailey's beads. You might get some of the effects, but you won't get the whole corona. You won't get the whole darkness. So just don't do it. Don't stay here. You can go farther afield. And so where you got to go, the closest spot, and the people that are going to be in big trouble, because I think all Cincinnatians are going to go there, As you go out 74, cross in right here, just before 275, keep going a little bit, and Harrison, Ohio, right there. Get off the exit. Harrison, Ohio, get 1 minute, 31 seconds of totality. That's the closest decent place you can go. Not that the people in Harrison are decent, I'm just saying it's a decent chance because of the amount of totality. 1 minute 30 is not too shabby, but anything less than that you probably don't want to go for. But that's not a bad place to go, but I think the big deal is Harrison's the only place in Hamilton County that gets totality, so that means all the Cincinnatians might go there. And it's fine. I mean, it's probably easy to get there. But then if you go a little farther west, and let's say you end up in Batesville, Batesville's going to get you 3 minutes, 1 second. So a big jump up from 1 minute 30. Shelbyville out here will get you about 3:59. Not bad. Indianapolis, you're too far over, but still 3 minutes 50. And if you park on the side of the highway right there, 4 minutes, 1 second. Yeah, ooh. But don't be mesmerized by the center line, because if you're 10 miles off the center line, you're only going to lose a few seconds. It's not much to be right there on that center line in case you're going to be stuck in the middle of nowhere. It's good to be in a place with a bathroom. That's nice plus. So Shelbyville is very acceptable. I mean, that's 3:59. It's only 2 seconds less, but where are you going to pee out there? It's not going to work out too well. So that's the western view. If you want to go west, that's one option. The other option is go north. So if you go north on 75, you go to Dayton. Dayton gives you about 2 minutes, 44 seconds. Oxford, where's Oxford? Boy, there's Eton. Where's Oxford? Down? Still? Yeah. What? Oh, wow, okay. 2:51, Oxford. Not bad. Go up north. Let's see, Sydney, Ohio. That's off I-75. 3:53. Wapakoneta, home of Neil Armstrong. 3:56. So anywhere around there, you're in the 350s range or something like that. You can also go up to Cleveland. Cleveland and downtown Cleveland's going to be in pretty good shape, where you're going to get 3:47. Opening day for the Guardians baseball team. They're going to be playing. They moved the time back. It was going to be during the eclipse. Now they got convinced that we should move it outside of the eclipse time. But people that have tickets for that, boy, that's going to be fun. So lots of different places. So north or west are the two options to go. And so people are asking, well, where am I going to go? I don't know. I'm going by the weather. The weather is the biggest factor because the clouds will ruin everything. If we have a day like today, you won't see it. It's got to be clear. It's got to be clear enough for you to see your shadow on the ground. So that's how clear it has to be. So I'm going to be watching the weather and seeing which direction to go, north, west, or south. My driving range, I say, is anywhere between Arkansas and Buffalo. That's my range. Because people are all into Texas, because Texas has the best statistical weather chances. But it's not much better than Cleveland. It's only about 10% better than Cleveland. And so you could go all the way to Texas, and it's cloudy there, and then you're stuck. Versus up here, where what's the chances of it being cloudy from there to there? Better than it just being cloudy in one place. Now, this is going to happen on a Monday. And so Monday, some students are still in school. If there are any parents here that have, from Cincinnati Public, they have not canceled school. It is ridiculous. Columbus has canceled school. Cleveland's canceled school. Dayton's canceled school. Cincinnati has not canceled. And it doesn't look like they're going to. And you want to know why? Well, that could be. It's because they don't think this is a big deal. They think, well, what's going to happen? Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen. they're going to get out of school, because I was at a school recently that they get out at 3:05, and the eclipse totality happens around here at 3:09. So they're going to get out of school. All the kids are going to be like, look up at their sky without their glasses. They're going to go blind, and then they're going to sue the school. And then after that, they're going to have to go on the bus. And when they get on the bus, guess what they're going to enter? The traffic jam from all hell. And then they're going to go nowhere, and all the kids will starve on the bus, and the school will be bankrupt with all the litigation that's going to happen. Plus, half the teachers aren't going to be there, and then how are they going to get substitutes? Because there's not going to be substitutes. So I like to think, boy, how is this school going to operate when hardly any of the kids are there, hardly any of the adults are there, and you can't get bus drivers, and they're all going to be stuck there? That's going to be a fun day. Good idea. Let's just keep that. Sorry, I don't get it. So, write to them. Just say, hey, I'm not bringing my kid to school that day. And if they get enough of them, they're going to, it's going to happen. That's the thing. So, but you may have to work that day. Holy smokes. That'd be terrible. So I have a plan for you. If you need this, I have it on my website. Down below, get out of work note. Download Dean's astronomer note. It's an astronomer note that you can give to your employer to say why you should get out of work that day, because you're going to come back the next day super productive, inspired. So feel free to download that note. You'll at least give your boss a good laugh, or maybe not, but it'll give you a good laugh. So check that out. But you got to get out of this 99% thing, because there's just no reason to stay in here for that. So that's the plan. Now, for folks that did see the one in 2017, and you probably got that traffic jam. That traffic jam was crazy. Like, it took me 3 hours to get down there, 8.5 hours to get back, and I think I was lucky to get back. And it was, the maps were taking me on back roads and like all over the place. No matter where you went, you were in this back-to-back traffic going 10, 15 miles an hour the whole time. And if I hadn't just seen that eclipse and been in such a good mood, that would have been hell. But instead, I'm driving. I'm like, oh my God, look at all these people that just saw what I did. Oh, we're all together. Oh, we're all moving together. We're all gonna go. And I was just like in this la-la land. So my plan this time is to not, if I'm far away, I'm gonna stay there that night. Let the traffic clear. And I got my astronomer notes, so I can get out of work the next day too if I want. But wait, and you don't have to stay in the path of totality, because all those places are expensive and booked up. You can stay just outside of totality and go in that day, because the eclipse is later in the day. In fact, I think that's what we'll do next, is I want to kind of simulate what that's going to look like. So this is my program that's pretty old school, as you can tell, but works great. And so I made it April 8th at 12 o'clock or so. And so this is set for Cincinnati. We'll zoom in on the sun. Whoa, too close. Okay, there we go. And so we can go forward in time. So the sun will look pretty normal, pretty much all the way till almost totality. So here we are at about 1:30, still nothing happening. So now we're going to get to where it really starts cooking here. First contact in the Cincinnati area is about 1:52. That's when you start to see the moon make its appearance in front of the sun, just like that. And so each time I'm clicking is 1 minute. So that's how fast it's going across this. So at this point, you wouldn't notice anything about the sky. It would all still be the same brightness. If you have those glasses, then you can look at this. The other thing you're going to notice is the light coming through leaves. It'll come down onto the ground in little crescent shapes, because the leaves make little pinhole cameras, which is really cool. So here we are at about 2:30. Here we are about 2:45. So 3 o'clock is when it's really going to start to take effect. Is that you'll start to see it get a little dimmer out there. It'll start to get cooler outside. But you still need the glasses. There's 301, 302, 303, 304, 305, 306, 307, 308, 309, 310, 11, 12, 13. That's so close. Come on. Let's move the city. I should write a science fiction story about the guy who moved the moon to make it claim an eclipse. That's a good idea. So that's how close we are. But even with 1%, you still need those glasses. It's still going to be pretty bright. So I strongly, strongly encourage you to get out of the city so you can just get to that one extra low percent. If even for a minute, I think it's totally worth it. So, so as far as methods of observing the eclipse go, I mean, probably the best is using those glasses. So those are the cheapest methods that you can get. So these are just those little paper glasses with the special filters on the front. And if you don't have them, well, I got a deal for you. I got them for sale afterwards at the back. Because you need those glasses for the partial stages, so see me afterwards if you want to get some glasses. If you have your glasses from 2017, they are probably okay. But they do degrade over time, and so you want to check them to make sure. So if you have any old glasses, get a really bright flashlight, shine them backwards through them, look for any pinholes, creases, wear spots. If you see anything suspicious, throw them away. They should be okay, but they might not be. And you always want to test those out ahead of time. There's also knockoff glasses out there, which I've tested all the knockoff glasses that I've seen, and they are all sufficiently good enough. But still, don't get the knockoff glasses, just to be on the safe side. You can also get a filter. So this is a filter for a little telescope. You can also use that for a filter over your camera. So if you have an SLR camera, you get a filter that goes over the top. If you just have your phone, you could put the glasses in front of your phone. Take a picture that way. That's a good way to do it. So there's other methods where you can do pinhole projection methods. I'm not a big pinhole projector guy. Mostly because it's lame, I think. And you know, like you put a pinhole in a box, and you put the box over your head, and you see it through. It's so lame. And I'm more worried about people using this incorrectly. Put the hole in the paper, look through the hole at the sun. It's just a little hole, right? No, that's still the sun. It's bad. And people do say, they're like, well, wait, we shouldn't look at the eclipse, right? I'm like, no. And then I want them to follow up that, but they don't. Because in my mind, I'm like, because you shouldn't ever look at the sun, right? And they're like, yeah. Because people think the eclipse will make you go blinder. No, the sun was bad anytime. That's what my mom always told me. Don't stare at the sun, Dean. So I'm not a big fan of the pinhole thing just because I think people will misuse it. But you can use your own pinhole stuff. Make your fist into a pinhole. You can get the light coming through there. It makes a little image of the sun. Cross your fingers. Interlace your fingers like a waffle. It'll make little crescent suns through it. Light coming through the leaves. Going through a colander. Going through a trucker hat. Going through a Ritz cracker. Whatever. It'll do it. But don't put the box over your head. I think that's just stupid. So yeah, those are the Eclipse glasses. Definitely the cheapest method to do it, and they work really good. They're really dark too, so they really protect you pretty well. If you have a telescope, there's something called a sun funnel. This is a really cool way you can add an attachment to your telescope and let the sunlight come through an oil funnel onto a screen, and you can actually see an image of the sun on it. That's a really cool way to do it. So you can look up how to make a sun funnel. A really cool way to check that out. But then if filters that go on the end of the telescopes, these you want to make sure you block the light before they get into the telescopes or your cameras. So it looks kind of like that. Block out the light first. There's these old eyepieces that people had that are filtered at the back, and they are very dangerous because the light after it comes through is very intense. So you want to block the light before it gets in. There's another filter that works also. These cost about $20. And so here's the filter on the end of a camera to block out the light before it gets in the camera. Video camera works great. If you can zoom 5 times, even 8 times, that's all you really need. This fella, he had the best camera I'd ever seen with the worst filter on it. He just had a welder's thing, and so you might have heard that welder's glass works, and that's true if you have a sufficient shade. The only shade of welder's glass that works is number 14. It's the darkest shade they make. His was not 14, by the way, when I asked him later. Most people, if they have them, they're not 14s. So welder's glasses I'm kind of off on. I think the Eclipse glasses do a little bit better. So, but that's the key thing, is you want to block the light before it gets into the camera or your eye. Oh, right. And so this is the adapter I use to put my phone on to a telescope. So you just look it up on Amazon or Orion telescope website and say camera or telescope camera adapter. They're about $20, and you put it right on there and you get an image. You can like focus, you can zoom in, you can do video, you can do slow-mo, lots of good ways to do it. So I'd highly encourage that. So, but this is definitely something that you all can do and should do, and get out of work, get out of school and everything to see this. So, is everybody sufficiently pumped up? Is everybody ready to go? Good. I'm glad to hear it. So, we have some time. Can we do some questions? Is that doable? Yes. All right. How are we going to do it? Oh, I guess you just yell.
Yeah.
Will you be able to see the moon, or will it just be a black shadow?
Okay. Question is, will you be able to see the moon during the totality? No. So it'll be completely backlit. So any part of it that's shining on you will be completely gone. You can probably see in some people's pictures, some of the pictures, you'll be able to see them. I wonder if I have one. I used to have one handy. Nah, I don't have it here. Well, no, you can't see it in that one. If you do a real long exposure photograph, sometimes you'll be able to see the outline of the moon and some of the craters, but that's all the camera can see, but not the eyes. Other questions? Yeah, go ahead. Did I experience a temperature drop? Absolutely. So the one in 2006, they said it dropped 16 degrees during totality. And the one in 2017, I didn't notice, or I didn't like measure it. But for folks who remember that day, that was a blazing hot day. It was incredibly hot all day. And then somewhere about 5 minutes before totality, it hit me. It's like, whoo, I'm not sweating all of a sudden. And it was so much cooler. So I think 15 to 20 degrees is the usual drop of temperature. I actually just gave a talk to Duke employees today, and they were talking about, will solar power go down during the eclipse? And good news, they said no. It's good, because it's only a few minutes. So I was like, well, we're going to have a meeting about this? All right. I was like, boy, I can't wait to see what they're going to say. Oh, good. Yeah, it won't. Yeah, good. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Good. It's just a few minutes. It's like a cloud. Yes, go ahead. So, yeah, question is, if it's cloudy, what can you see? Nothing. So, again, like if it's cloudy like today, we're out of luck. You're not going to experience anything. If it's partly cloudy, hard to say. Again, the rule of thumb is if you can see your shadow, that's the criteria, basically. Oh, there is a tendency. Now, this isn't a rule, but there's a tendency when it gets towards totality that the clouds dissipate. They do dissipate and thin just a little bit because of the heat is kind of going down during that time. But we're only talking just a smidgen difference. So it wouldn't turn like a day like today into a clear sky. But if you're partly cloudy, it could get slightly better before the eclipse. Yes? You ever thought about getting up in an airplane? All the time. So as an eclipse chaser, I'm a pretty good eclipse chaser. I haven't been clouded out of a lunar eclipse or a solar eclipse since 2010. So I think I'm on a streak of about 15 in a row of clear skies. So I have a method. And that one back in 2010, I even had a backup plan. I was, hanging around Lunken Airport a little bit, and I was trying to find some pilots that would take me up on a cloudy day. Because I knew it was December, lunar eclipse in December is probably going to be cloudy. So I got a pilot. He was going to take me up. I was like, you can get me up above the clouds? He's like, yeah, I can get you above the clouds. I was like, all right, let's do it. So that December day dawns, snowstorm. So I called up the pilot. I'm like, when are we going up? He's like, okay, Dean, so the plane I got is the same model that, Buddy Holly and the Big Bopper went down on. And I was like, yeah, so when are we going up? I was just kidding. So that's the last one I missed. Other than that, so does a plane help you? Yes, it can get you above the clouds. But does it help you any other ways? So there is a flight. Delta has scheduled a flight from Austin to Detroit during the eclipse, you'll be en route during the eclipse. The idea is you're going with the shadow of the moon, and you will get some extra time in totality. Never mind the fact that if you're on the wrong side of the plane, or if you're in an aisle seat, never mind. The sun's going to be up there pretty high, so that anybody on the one side of the plane that can go like that is going to see that. But anyway, I'm not taking that flight. But it's a good gimmick. But even if you're flying along the path, let's say you're going 600 miles an hour, the speed of the eclipse is somewhere in the 2,000 mile an hour range. So you're going to gain a few seconds extra. That's it. You just can't keep up with it. It's not even close. So you do get above the clouds, but yeah. It's just such a short amount of time, and the angle of the sun is going to be tough to do from a plane, that's for sure. Hot air balloon, that could be cool. Other questions? Yes? Yeah, so since I'm a decent weather forecaster, at least 2 days out, where will I share that? Absolutely, positively. So if you go to my website up at the top, this is all my social media platforms. I'll be posting on there kind of like 5 days out, 4 days out, 3 days out, probabilities. 2 days out is when I'm probably going to start driving, if it's far, and I'll tell you what it's kind of looking like. Y'all can meet me. Bring sour beer. Yes?
Somebody over there was before me.
Okay. Who's over there? Okay.
So, I just have a question about when you were on the cruise ship. We experienced it back in 2017. We were in like a semi-forested area, and like the animals and the bugs and all that stuff was really, really cool. Did you have any of that on the ocean?
So being on the Eclipse cruise, did you notice any weird animal behavior? Because in 2017, the animals around definitely changed. We were so far away from land, we couldn't see any land anywhere. So there was really no creatures out there that we noticed. So it wasn't like some dolphins just jumped all of a sudden. That would have been that would have been pretty sweet. If I think I would remember that, but I do remember from the 2017 one was that it was so hot in summer and the cicadas were going like crazy, and then all of a sudden the cicada noise just disappears, and you wait a few more seconds and then the cricket noises start. It was such a distinct difference of the tone of those. That's when it was really cool. But I don't know about any animal behavior differences. I know there's anecdotal evidence about that, but I've never experienced it myself. Okay, I guess you're up. Why does the corona look like that? Like this? So what you're seeing is the outer atmosphere of the sun. And the sun has this magnetic field. So it has a north pole and a south pole. And so you're seeing this plasma, these gases of the sun arching off in these streamers. And so, yeah, just think of it like a bar magnet, with that being the North Pole and that being the South Pole, and these are like iron filings. They make those arcs and loops as they're curving around the magnetic field of the sun. So they're very, very light particles. But the mystery about this part of the sun, the corona, is it is hotter than the surface of the sun. So it's farther away from the surface, yet it's hotter, about 1 million to 2 million degrees in that area. And that is still a mystery to scientists as to why that is hotter when it's less dense out there. Yeah, go ahead.
Why does it appear to get brighter at totality, or is that just a photographic effect?
Yeah, why does it get brighter at totality? Well, it's because it's the sky's darker. So it's there the whole time. You just can't see it because the sky is still too bright. And so that's the only time. It's always there. You just can't see it because it's barely brighter than the surrounding sky. Yeah. And each eclipse has its own little formation. So each one has its own shape based on what activity is going on. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, is that because of the diffraction of the atmosphere? Basically, the light particles actually getting absorbed by that?
So the shape of this is caused by anything atmospheric in the Earth? No, this is all sun. This is all stuff happening 93 million miles away from us. So that light, it would enter this atmosphere just like anything else.
But I was talking about the absence of diffraction. Because normally with the light, you have diffraction in the atmosphere, which causes this really blue color stuff. So essentially, I would imagine that's probably light.
Well, I mean, if you want to take, the light of the sun is so many, like millions of times brighter than the light of this corona. So that is not going to do a lot to light up our sky. So yeah, it wouldn't have that same effect because it's so much weaker than the rest of it. All right, yeah, back in the back.
But you said you were going to watch from a window from Arkansas to New York. What's the time window?
Yeah, so the time from like Arkansas to New York, when does it actually happen? So around Cincinnati, it's 3:09. So let's say I go down to Conway, Arkansas. Totality would be, start of the eclipse would be 2:51. Yeah, that's Arkansas, but it'll say our time, 2:51. So 2:51 to 3:09. So in 16 minutes, it'll go from there to there. Yeah, but it's all in universal time. So whenever you click on this, you take this, subtract 4. So it's all universal time. So 16 minutes for the eclipse to go from there to there. And then Buffalo, start of the total eclipse, 3:18. Wow. So just about 9 minutes to go from there to there. So yeah, that's why you can't keep up within a plane. So, well, what we'll do is if you guys have more questions, definitely I'll hang around. I'll be at the back. And you can ask some more questions about what's to expect. And if you want to check out the books, and of course, if you got to buy eclipse glasses, why not get them from your friendly neighborhood astronomer right here? And be happy to get them back there in the back. But thank you all so much for having me here today. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you're all ready for the eclipse. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Dean. We appreciate you having you here. Thank you all for coming. Be sure to check out Dean's books and the glasses in the back. And in a Science on Tap first, I actually have the speakers for our April event here. They're going to promote their own event. So we're excited to be partnering with UC's Public Engagement with Science Department, and I'd like to invite them to the stage.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Rami. This is Angela, and this is Kyle. We are two philosophers and one scientist. She's an immunologist. I work on philosophy of science. He works on philosophy of technology. And next month, we're going to give a talk on the intersection between science and philosophy. How can they communicate with one another? How can they inform one another? And we're going to work on something specifically about immunology. We can't tell you about it at the moment. I'm just gonna say we're keeping it a teaser, but we have no idea what we're gonna do yet. So
We'll try to be as captivating as Dean here.
exactly. For a moment, we thought we might not have to talk because this was so good. We were like, okay, maybe just, yeah. But we're gonna try to make the best out of it, and we would hope to see you there as well. Thank you.
Thank you. We're confirming the date for that, so be sure to check social media or meetup at Science on Tap. Be sure to follow Radio Artifact and Urban Artifact. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.